What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video. I've done some videos in the past about roping, and I know that we have a bunch of beginner ropers, so I figured I would just talk a little bit about ropes and about how to build your loop when it comes to roping, some things that you may want to think about. And yeah, I figured there's a bunch of new people on this channel, new to roping, new to the Western sports, and so I figured this would be a good video to show y'all. So let's get to it. Now, this is definitely not the only way to do this. It's definitely not the only school of thought when it comes to ropes and how big or how small or how much spoke or anything like that. But this is just kind of how I like to do it. So a couple things that you really want to think about are your loop size, and then not only your loop size, but the amount of spoke that you have. Now, spoke meaning from the Honda up to your hand. Okay, that's quite a bit of a spoke, and you can see it's about just probably under a quarter of that rope size. So a lot of this is just going to be about your feel. I know some guys that rope with ropes, like when they start on their very first swing, it's like this, or maybe just a little bit more, and they may not have a lot of spoke on there. For me, I like to have a decent size loop, right? That way whenever I feed it that first time, it feels nice and balanced. So you're just gonna have to kind of play with it a little bit. You're just gonna have to figure out what works best for you, what feels best for you, and then just go from there. So a lot of times you'll see guys and they'll be swinging their ropes and they're just trying to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. It's nice and balanced. And I also do this a little bit to make sure that I'm feeding the correct amount of slack into my rope, especially on that first swing. I want to feed it just right. So there's a couple different ways to get started with your loop. You'll see a lot of guys, they'll hold the rope like this, right? They'll hold this strand, and all they're gonna do is roll their hand backwards and slide the slack through. You'll see a lot of people do this, where they'll just feed their rope through their hand, right? And then they have their loop ready to go. That's kind of the easiest way to do it, and to me, that's what I like to do the most, because it really lets me feel everything about my loop, making sure it's balanced, making sure I've got enough spoke. If you don't have enough spoke, or you have too much spoke, it's going to change the feel of your rope. It's going to give you either more or less weight down in your tip, among other things. So, like everything with this channel, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not a beginner, but not an advanced guy. I'm somewhere kind of right there in the middle.
You're an amateur.
I'm an amateur, if you want to say it like that. So if you really want to know some like crazy, in-depth discussion about it, go talk to a pro, go talk to somebody that's been doing it a long time. But this is just how I like to do things and how I like to get my ropes started. So, and we're just talking about on the head side. Heeling is a little bit different. I don't know anything about it. So when we're talking about this sort of stuff, this is all on the head side. This is a big size loop to me. I am somewhere kind of right in the middle, and I like to determine my spoke just kind of off feel. By doing enough times, I know that if I run my hand backward like this is about as much spoke as I like, and I'll just kind of give it a few swings, feed it through, and we're ready to go.